1. We've got a real treat for you. A 1969 Mercury Cougar that's just begging for some love and attention. This classic beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist for just $9,500, and let me tell you, it's a steal. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But wait, the seller mentioned it had a little accident on the front left corner, and you're right, they did. But here's the thing. They've got all the original parts that were removed, so fixing it up shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Plus, the rest of the car is in pretty great shape for its age, with only some minimal rust on the fender flares. Under the hood, this Cougar is packing a powerful 8-cylinder engine that starts right up and runs like a champ. No smoke, even on a cold start. The only issue is a little trouble idling, but hey, that's just part of the charm of owning a classic car, right? The seller was kind enough to include a bunch of new parts from classic Cougars like a dash cover, trim, sail panels, door grab handles, and a light cover. They even went ahead and installed a new battery, had the carburetor rebuilt by the pros at Competition Carburation, and threw in a new fuel pump and filter. Talk about a head start on your restoration project. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, this Cougar did have a little mishap on the front left corner. But the seller is being upfront about it and even included all the original parts that were removed. And honestly, with a car this cool, a little character just adds to its story. At the end of the day, this 1969 Mercury Cougar is a 100% original survivor that's just waiting for the right person to give it the love and attention it deserves. Whether you're a die-hard Mustang fan, a muscle car aficionado, or just someone who appreciates a good classic cruiser, this Cougar is the perfect candidate for a full restoration. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and check out this 1969 Mercury Cougar before someone else snaps it up. With a little elbow grease and some TLC, this classic beauty could be the crown jewel of your collection. Trust me, you won't regret it. 2. All right, folks, get ready to feast your eyes on this incredible 1956 Ford Fairlane that just popped up on Craigslist. This classic beauty is up for grabs at just $10,000, and let me tell you, it's an opportunity you don't want to miss. First things first, let's talk about how this Fairlane runs. According to the seller, she drives like a dream, with only a little bit of oil burn to show for her years on the road. And speaking of originality, this car is about as authentic as they come. It's got the original 292 Thunderbird engine under the hood, and it hasn't been souped up or modified in any way. That means you're getting a true piece of automotive history here, folks. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about the condition? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that there's some slight rust at the fender wells and the back seat has a bit of staining due to a leaky door gasket, but hey, that's just part of the charm of owning a classic car, right? These little imperfections just add to the story and character of this incredible machine. The best part? This Fairlane is fully street legal and ready to drive. That's right, you could be cruising down the road in this vintage beauty as soon as you hand over the cash. And with a clean title in hand, you won't have to worry about any pesky paperwork or red tape. Now, I know $10,000 might seem like a lot of money, but hear me out. This is a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history that's been beautifully preserved. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a 1956 Ford Fairlane in this kind of condition? And with the seller open to offers, who knows? You might just be able to snag this beauty for an even better price. So if you're a fan of classic cars or just someone who appreciates the craftsmanship and style of a bygone era, you owe it to yourself to check out this 1956 Ford Fairlane. With its original engine, clean title, and vintage charm, this car is a true gem that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. And if you're worried about the little imperfections, don't be. Those just add to the character and story of this incredible machine, so what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make an offer on this 1956 Ford Fairlane before someone else beats you to it. Trust me, you won't regret it. 3. Get ready to feast your eyes on this incredibly rare 1977 Cadillac DeVille that just popped up on Craigslist. And when I say rare, I mean it. This beauty has only 43,000 miles on the odometer. That's right, you heard me correctly, just 43,000 miles. And the best part? It can be yours for just $8,500. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? There must be something wrong with it. But let me assure you, this DeVille is in fantastic condition. The seller notes that there's no rust on the body, which is a huge plus for a car of this age. And when you fire up that engine, it starts and runs just like it should. That's the beauty of a well-maintained classic car like this one. Of course, with a car that's over 40 years old, you can expect some normal wear and tear. But the seller is upfront about this, noting that both the interior and exterior are in good condition considering the car's age. And honestly, a little patina just adds to the charm and character of a classic ride like this one. Now let's talk about that color. Brown may not be everyone's cup of tea, but there's no denying that it's a classic 70s hue that just oozes vintage cool. And when you pair it with the sleek lines and bold styling of the DeVille, you've got a car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this DeVille is its rarity. With only 43,000 miles on the odometer, it's a true time capsule that's been beautifully preserved. Think about it. How often do you come across a classic car that's been driven so sparingly? It's a testament to the love and care that the previous owners have shown this incredible machine. So if you're in the market for a rare and beautiful classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, look no further than this 1977 Cadillac DeVille. With its low mileage, rust-free body, and vintage charm, it's a true gem that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. And at just $8,500, it's an incredible value for a car of this caliber, so what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this 1977 Cadillac DeVille yours before someone else beats you to it. Trust me, you won't regret it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of automotive history that's sure to bring you joy for years to come. 4. Feast your eyes on this incredible 1985 Oldsmobile Toronado that just popped up on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this is not your average classic car. With only one owner and 101,000 original miles, this Toronado is a true gem that's just waiting for the right person to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this beauty. The seller notes that it's in good shape overall with no accidents and a clean title. That's a huge plus for a car that's over 35 years old. And when you pop the hood, you'll find a powerful V8 engine that's paired with a smooth shifting automatic transmission. Plus, with front-wheel drive, this Toronado is a breeze to handle on the road. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But what about the imperfections? Well, the seller is upfront about those too. There's a crack in the windshield that will need to be addressed, and the AC isn't working at the moment. But hey, that could just be a simple fix like a recharge. And while the paint has some minor dings and imperfections, it's nothing that can't be touched up or even embraced as part of the car's character. But let's talk about the good stuff, shall we? The interior of this Toronado is nice, which is a testament to how well it's been cared for over the years. And with new tires, this car is ready to hit the road and turn heads wherever it goes. Imagine cruising down the street in this classic beauty with its sleek red paint job and vintage styling. It's sure to be a conversation starter. Now, I know $6,500 might seem like a lot of money for a car that needs a little bit of work. But hear me out. This is a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history that's been beautifully preserved. These Toronados are getting harder and harder to find, especially in this kind of condition. And with only one owner and 101,000 original miles, you know that this car has been loved and cared for throughout its life. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, look no further than this 1985 Oldsmobile Toronado. With its powerful V8 engine, front-wheel drive, and vintage styling, it's a true gem that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. And at just $6,500 or best offer, it's an incredible value for a car of this caliber. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this 1985 Oldsmobile Toronado yours before someone else beats you to it. Trust me, you won't regret it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of automotive history that's sure to bring you joy for years to come. 5. All right, folks. Hold on to your hats because do I have a beast of a machine to show you today. Straight from the pages of Craigslist comes this incredible 1973 Chevrolet Chevelle. And let me tell you, it's not just any old Chevelle. This is a Malibu station wagon that's been transformed into an absolute powerhouse. First things first, let's talk about the history of this beauty. With only 78,000 miles on the odometer and just 2 owners, including the current one, you know this Chevelle has been cherished and well cared for. But that's just the beginning of what makes this car so special. Under the hood, you'll find a monstrous 496 cubic inch big block engine that's been meticulously assembled by Paola. We're talking about a scat all-forged stroker rotating assembly, oval port heads that have been performance-built, Comp Cam's SS roller rockers, and a Howard's retro roller cam and lifters. This engine is no joke, folks. It's got 2-bolt mains with ARP studs, a 7-quart oil pan, and an MSD distributor with a 6AL ignition system. In other words, it's built to perform. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Chevelle has been outfitted with a 700R4 transmission and a 3.42 Posey rear end, which means it's got the gears to match all that power. And with urethane bush suspension, you know this thing handles like a dream. Now I know what you might be thinking. But what if I want to bring it back to its original glory? Well, fear not, because this Chevelle comes with the original 350/350 engine and transmission combo. That's right, you're getting 2 engines for the price of 1. Speaking of price, let's talk about the elephant in the room. At $14,500, this Chevelle is not exactly a budget-friendly option. But when you consider the amount of work and upgrades that have gone into this car, it's actually a pretty incredible deal. You're getting a turnkey machine that's ready to tear up the streets and turn heads wherever it goes. And let's not forget about the cool factor of a station wagon. Sure, it may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a muscle car, but that's exactly what makes this Chevelle so unique. It's got all the power and performance of a classic Chevelle, but with the added practicality and style of a wagon. So if you're in the market for a one-of-a-kind muscle car that's sure to stand out from the crowd, look no further than this 1973 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu station wagon. With its incredible engine, top-notch upgrades, and unique style, it's a true gem that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. And if you're worried about the price tag, just remember, you're not just buying a car, you're buying a piece of automotive history. This Chevelle is a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of American muscle. And it's a car that's sure to turn heads and drop jaws wherever it goes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Craigslist and make this 1973 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu station wagon yours before someone else beats you to it. Trust me, you won't regret it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a true masterpiece of American muscle. 6. Straight from the pages of Craigslist comes this incredible 1973 Chevy Nova custom hatchback. And let me tell you, it's a project car that's just begging for the right owner to come along and give it some love. First things first, let's talk about the heart of this beast. Under the hood, you'll find the original SBC 350 engine and TH 350 transmission, both of which are complete and working like a charm. The seller has even gone the extra mile and installed a bunch of brand new parts, including an aluminum 2-core radiator with an electric fan, a new thermostat and housing, new upper and lower radiator hoses, and a whole slew of Felpro gaskets. And if that wasn't enough, they've even thrown in a new HEI distributor, plugs and wires to keep this baby running like a top. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Nova is riding on a set of brand new wheels and tires that were just installed in February of this year and have only seen about 10 miles of use. And if you're tired of fumbling around with multiple keys, the seller has even included a set of single-key cylinders for all the doors, ignition, and glove box. Talk about convenience. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what about the condition of the body? Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is some rust on the hatch and rear wheel wells, as you can see in the pictures. But here's the thing, the seller is upfront about it, and the rest of the car is solid as a rock. There's no rot in the floors, panels, or doors, which is a huge plus for a project car like this. And let's not forget about all the extra goodies that come with this Nova. The seller is including a bunch of new parts like door pins and bushings, the remaining freeze plugs, and a whole slew of Felpro gaskets. They're even throwing in a metal transmission inspection cover and a box of miscellaneous items like bolts and trim pieces. It's like a treasure trove of Nova parts. But perhaps the most exciting thing about this car is the potential it has. With a little bit of elbow grease and some TLC, this Nova could be an absolute showstopper. And with a clean Colorado title and registration already in the seller's name, You won't have to worry about any pesky paperwork or red tape. So, if you're a fan of classic American muscle and you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, this 1973 Chevy Nova Custom hatchback is the project car of your dreams. And at just $8,000, it's an absolute steal for a car with this much potential. But don't just take my word for it. Head on over to Craigslist and check out this Nova for yourself. With its original engine and transmission, brand new parts and solid body, it's a project car that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love and attention it deserves. And if you're worried about the rust or the freeze plugs, don't be. Those are just minor issues that can be easily addressed with a little bit of work. The seller has already done a ton of the heavy lifting for you, and with all the extra parts they're including, you'll have everything you need to get this Nova back on the road and turning heads in no time. So what are you waiting for? If you're a truck guy like the seller, it's time to step out of your comfort zone and take on a project car that's sure to be the talk of the town. This 1973 Chevy Nova Custom hatchback is a rare find, and it's not going to last long at this price. So head on over to Craigslist and make it yours before someone else beats you to it. Trust me, you won't regret it. 7. Straight from the pages of Craigslist comes this incredible 1962 Plymouth Valiant, and let me tell you, it's a real gem. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this beauty. According to the seller, it's in great shape, which is a huge plus for a car that's over 60 years old. And with a clean title, you won't have to worry about any pesky paperwork or red tape. Under the hood, you'll find the legendary Slant 6 engine, which is known for its durability and reliability. These engines were built to last, and with proper maintenance, they can run for hundreds of thousands of miles. And with an automatic transmission, this Valiant is a breeze to drive. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what about the mileage? Well, the seller hasn't provided an odometer reading, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. These old cars were built to last, and as long as it's been well maintained, the mileage shouldn't be a major concern. But perhaps the best thing about this Valiant is the price. At just $9,000, it's an absolute steal for a classic car in this condition. These Valiants are getting harder and harder to find, especially in such great shape, so this is an opportunity that you don't want to miss. Now, I know some of you might be hesitant to reach out to the seller, especially since they've made it clear that they'll only respond to serious inquiries by phone. But let me tell you, if you're a true classic car enthusiast, this is a small hurdle to overcome for the chance to own such an incredible piece of automotive history. And think about the potential this Valiant has. With its classic styling and reliable Slant 6 engine, it's the perfect car for cruising around town or taking to car shows. You'll be the envy of every classic car lover in your area, and you'll have a piece of history that you can be proud of. So if you're serious about classic cars and you're looking for a real gem, look no further than this 1962 Plymouth Valiant. With its great condition, clean title, and unbeatable price, it's a deal that you simply can't pass up. But don't just take my word for it. Give the seller a call and see for yourself. And if you're lucky enough to be the one who takes this beauty home, I promise you won't regret it. This Valiant is a true classic that will bring you joy for years to come. 8. Straight from the heart of Central Oregon comes this stunning 1967 Chrysler New Yorker, and let me tell you, it's an absolute beauty. First things first, let's talk about the condition of this incredible machine. The seller describes it as being in excellent shape, and from the looks of it, they're not exaggerating. With just 85,000 miles on the odometer, this New Yorker has plenty of life left in it, and it's clear that it's been well cared for over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 440 cubic inch V8 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor, which is sure to provide plenty of power and torque. And with rear-wheel drive, this New Yorker is a true classic American sedan that's built for cruising in style. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this car is the interior. The seller describes it as being beautiful, and I have to agree. From the plush seats to the intricate details on the dash, this New Yorker is a true time capsule that will transport you back to the golden age of American automotive design. And let's not forget about the color. This New Yorker is finished in a stunning shade of green that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. It's the perfect color for a classic car like TFS. And it's a testament to the bold and daring design choices that were made back in the 1960s. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what about rust? Well, I've got good news for you. This New Yorker is a Central Oregon car, which means it's been spared from the harsh winters and road salt that can wreak havoc on classic cars in other parts of the country. The seller specifically mentions that there's no rust on this beauty, which is a huge plus for anyone looking for a solid and well-preserved classic. And let's talk about the price. At just $6,900, this New Yorker is an absolute steal. These cars are getting harder and harder to find in such great condition, and with the prices of classic cars continuing to rise, this is an opportunity that you simply can't pass up. But perhaps the best thing about this New Yorker is the fact that it's ready for a new home. The seller is looking for someone who will appreciate this car for the incredible machine that it is, and who will give it the love and attention that it deserves. And if you're a true classic car enthusiast, I have no doubt that you'll be the perfect fit. So if you're in the market for a stunning 1967 Chrysler New Yorker that's in excellent condition and ready for a new owner, look no further than this beauty from Central Oregon. With its powerful engine, beautiful interior, and rust-free body, this is a car that's sure to turn heads and bring a smile to your face every time you get behind the wheel. But don't just take my word for it. Give the seller a call and see for yourself. And if you're lucky enough to be the one who takes this New Yorker home, I promise you won't regret it. This is a true classic that will bring you joy for years to come, and it's a piece of automotive history that you'll be proud to own. 9. We've got an intriguing 1972 Pontiac Lemons up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is being offered at $5,000, but there's a catch. It's currently without an engine. However, the seller is sweetening the deal by including 2 engines with the purchase. Now, I'll be honest with you, the lack of an engine might raise some eyebrows, but hear me out. The seller mentions that this Lemons is a solid car with many new parts. That's a good sign, as it suggests that the car has been well maintained and possibly even undergone some restoration work. The odometer reading of 6,000 miles is also intriguing. It's unclear whether this is the actual mileage or if the odometer has rolled over. If it's the actual mileage, then this Lemons has been driven sparingly over its 50-year lifespan, which could be a major plus for collectors. Another positive aspect is that the car comes with a clean title, indicating that there are no major legal or ownership issues to worry about. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the missing engine. While it's certainly not ideal, the seller is offering 2 engines to go with the car. This could be a great opportunity for a mechanically inclined buyer who enjoys a good project. With the right engine and some elbow grease, this Lemons could be brought back to its former glory. However, it's important to approach this deal with a bit of caution. The seller hasn't provided many details about the condition of the car's body, interior, or other mechanical components. It's crucial to thoroughly inspect the vehicle and assess the extent of any necessary repairs or replacements before making a purchase. The seller's insistence on only accepting calls and not showing contact info in the ad might also raise some questions. It's always a good idea to meet in person, view the car, and ask plenty of questions before handing over any money. In conclusion, this 1972 Pontiac Lemons presents an intriguing opportunity for the right buyer. If you're up for a project and have the mechanical know-how to bring this classic back to life, it could be a rewarding investment. Just be sure to do your due diligence, inspect the car thoroughly, and get all the details from the seller before making a decision. With some TLC and the right engine, this Lemons could be a real head-turner on the road or at car shows. And at $5,000, it might just be the perfect project car for a Pontiac enthusiast looking for their next adventure. 10. All right, folks, it's time to get excited because we've stumbled upon an absolute gem on Craigslist today. Feast your eyes on this stunning 1978 Chevrolet Camaro, a true embodiment of American muscle car history. And guess what? It can be yours for just $12,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A 45-year-old car? Is it even worth considering? Well, let me tell you, this Camaro is no ordinary senior citizen. The seller has gone above and beyond to ensure that this beauty is in pristine condition, and it shows. Let's start with the exterior. The seller proudly declares that this Camaro has a brand spanking new front end. That means no more worrying about dents, dings, or unsightly blemishes. And if you're concerned about rust, you can put those fears to rest because this baby is rust-free. That's right, folks. No hidden surprises or nasty corrosion lurking beneath the surface. But what about the heart of this beast? Well, the seller assures us that the Camaro runs strong. And you know what? I believe them! With a rebuilt and balanced driveshaft, new U-joints, brakes, spindles, rotors, and sway bars, this car has been given the TLC it deserves. It's clear that the seller has spared no expense in ensuring that this Camaro is ready to hit the road with confidence. Step inside, and you'll find a nice interior waiting to welcome you. And get this, it even has power windows. That's right, you can roll down the windows and feel the wind in your hair with the touch of a button. It's the little luxuries that make driving a classic car so much fun. Now let's talk about the nitty-gritty details. This Camaro has a clean title, which means no shady history or legal issues to worry about. It's got an automatic transmission, so even if you're not a seasoned manual shifter, you can still enjoy the thrill of driving this beauty. And with just 30,000 miles on the odometer, this car has plenty of life left in it. Of course, as with any used car, it's always wise to do your due diligence. The seller encourages serious inquiries only, so if you're genuinely interested, don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. They seem more than happy to provide answers and show you the car in person. In conclusion, this 1978 Chevrolet Camaro is an absolute stunner. With its excellent condition, strong running engine, and tasteful upgrades, it's a car that any enthusiast would be proud to own. And at just $12,000, it's a bargain for a piece of American automotive history. So if you've been dreaming of cruising down the highway in a classic muscle car, this might just be your chance to make that dream a reality. 11. We've got a real blast from the past to share with you. A 1963 Ford Galaxy that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is priced at $14,850, and while it may not be a perfect show car, it's still a pretty impressive ride for a vehicle that's been around for over 6 decades. Let's start with the heart of this Galaxy, a beefy V8 390 engine that's sure to get your blood pumping. Paired with an automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this car is built for cruising down the highway in style. And speaking of style, check out that custom Bordeaux paint job. It's a real head-turner that's sure to get you noticed wherever you go. Now, the seller is upfront about the fact that this Galaxy isn't in perfect condition. The interior needs some love, with new door panels, a carpet kit, and a headliner on the to-do list. Some window cranks and interior trim also need to be installed. But hey, that just means you've got the opportunity to put your own personal touch on this classic ride. On the exterior, the car is missing a few door moldings and emblems, but that's to be expected with a vehicle of this age. The seller also mentions that the factory air conditioning system needs a new AC pump. But that's a small price to pay for the comfort of cool air on a hot summer day. Despite these minor flaws, the seller has put some serious work into making sure this Galaxy is road ready. The car has a new fuel tank and carburetor, ensuring that it runs smoothly. And with a clean title, you can rest assured that there are no hidden surprises lurking in this car's past. One of the standout features of this Galaxy is the wheels and tires. The seller describes them as nice, and from the photos, we have to agree. They really tie the whole look of the car together and give it a cool, retro vibe. At the end of the day, this 1963 Ford Galaxy may not be a flawless show car, but it's a solid, well-maintained classic that's perfect for cruising, car shows, or just turning heads around town. And with a price tag of $14,850, it's a pretty sweet deal for a piece of American automotive history. So if you're in the market for a vintage ride with plenty of character and a whole lot of potential, this Galaxy might just be the car for you. Why not take it for a spin and see for yourself? Just be prepared to fall in love with this charming 61-year-old beauty. 12. Feast your eyes on this incredible 1966 Chrysler Newport, currently available on Craigslist for just $5,500. This is your chance to own a piece of American automotive history without breaking the bank. Now, let's be real. This Newport isn't in perfect condition. The seller is upfront about the fact that it needs a little TLC to get it back to its former glory. But hey, that's part of the fun of owning a classic car, right? Rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty to bring a vintage beauty back to life? Under the hood, you'll find a powerful Chrysler 413 V8 engine that's just waiting to roar. The seller mentions that the car runs, but it might need a little help getting started. That's okay though. With a new battery and some fresh gas, This Newport will be ready to hit the road in no time. The car comes equipped with an automatic transmission, power steering, and power brakes, making it a breeze to drive. And check out those recently reupholstered seats. You'll be cruising in comfort and style. The seller has also taken care of some important maintenance items like rebuilding the carburetor, installing new brakes, and replacing the gas tank and fuel pump. Now let's talk about the exterior. The seller notes that there are no dents and only minor rust, which is pretty impressive for a car that's over 50 years old. The green paint job is a classic color that really makes this Newport stand out from the crowd. And how cool are those fender skirts? They add a touch of vintage charm that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. The odometer reading of 64,000 miles is believed to be original, but the seller does mention that the speedometer is currently inoperable. That's something to keep in mind, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. Plus, with a clear Wyoming title, you can buy with confidence, knowing that there are no hidden surprises lurking in this car's past. Now, the seller is clear that this Newport is being sold as is. They encourage potential buyers to bring a trailer or a mechanic to check it out before making a purchase. And at just $5,500 cash, this is an opportunity that classic car lovers won't want to miss. In conclusion, this 1966 Chrysler Newport is a vintage gem that's just waiting for the right owner to come along and give it the love it deserves. With its powerful V8 engine, comfortable interior, and classic good looks, this car has all the makings of a true collector's item. So why not take a chance on this Newport and see where the road takes you? Just be prepared to fall in love with this charming 57-year-old beauty. 13. We just spotted an incredible 1962 Mercury Meteor on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this beauty is a real head-turner. And the best part? It can be yours for just $5,950. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car that's over 60 years old, is it even worth considering? Well, let me put those fears to rest right now. The seller describes this Meteor as being in excellent condition. And from what we can see in the photos, they're not exaggerating. First off, let's talk about the history of this car. The seller mentions that it was originally manufactured in Canada and might be a cousin of the Mercury Monterey. That's some pretty cool provenance for a classic car. And with only 48,000 miles on the odometer, this Meteor has plenty of life left in it. Under the hood, you'll find a 260 V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. The seller says it runs and drives well for an old car, which is exactly what you want to hear. And while it may not have all the modern conveniences we're used to, like power windows or air conditioning, it does have roll-down windows and a heater/defroster. Hey, sometimes simplicity is a good thing. Now let's talk about the condition of this Meteor. The seller is upfront about the fact that it needs a new headliner, but they even have the replacement ready to go. They just never got around to installing it. That's an easy fix for the new owner. Other than that, the seller says the car is solid all the way around with no rust. Just maybe a little surface rust here and there if you really go looking for it. And the tires are in good shape too. The exterior of this Meteor looks fantastic in the photos. The chrome is shiny, the paint looks great, and the overall appearance is just classic 1960s cool. Imagine rolling up to a car show or cruise night in this beauty. You'll be the talk of the town. Perhaps the best part of this listing is the fact that the seller has a clear Oregon title in hand ready to go. That means no hassles or headaches when it comes to transferring ownership. And at just $5,950, this Meteor is a steal for any classic car enthusiast looking for a solid, drivable piece of automotive history. In conclusion, this 1962 Mercury Meteor is a rare find on Craigslist. With its excellent condition, low mileage, and cool Canadian heritage, it's a car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations wherever it goes. And it's such an affordable price, it's an opportunity that classic car lovers won't want to miss. So why not take a chance on this vintage beauty and see where the road takes you? Who knows? You might just fall in love with the simple pleasure of driving a classic car. 14. Get ready to feast your eyes on this stunning 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Brougham, currently available on Craigslist for just $11,500. This is your chance to own a piece of American automotive history that's been meticulously cared for over the years. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Cutlass. The seller describes it as being in good shape, and from the photos we can see why. The red paint job is absolutely gorgeous, with only a few spots of fading that are barely noticeable. And get this, the seller says there's zero rust on this car. That's almost unheard of for a vehicle that's over 40 years old. It's clear that this Cutlass has been garaged and well maintained throughout its life. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful Rocket 350 V8 engine that's sure to get your heart racing. Paired with an automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, this Cutlass is built for cruising down the highway in style. And with features like power windows, power seats, and power locks, you'll be riding in comfort and convenience. But the real star of the show here is the interior. The seller mentions that the original 8-track stereo is still in place and fully functional. How cool is that? You can cruise around town listening to your favorite classic tunes just like they did back in the 70s. And with working air conditioning and heat, you'll be comfortable no matter what the weather's like outside. One of the things that really sets this Cutlass apart is the attention to detail. The seller notes that the original spare tire and jack are still in the trunk, which is a testament to how well this car has been cared for over the years. It's the little things like that that make a classic car truly special. Now, let's talk about the mileage. The odometer shows 137,545 miles, which may seem like a lot at first glance, but for a car that's over 4 decades old, that's actually pretty low. And given how well this Cutlass has been maintained, we have no doubt that it's got plenty of life left in it. At the end of the day, this 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Brougham is a rare find on Craigslist. With its stunning good looks, powerful V8 engine, and well-preserved interior, it's a car that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. And at just $11,500, it's a bargain for any classic car enthusiast looking to add a true gem to their collection. So if you've been dreaming of owning a vintage ride that's equal parts style and substance, this Cutlass might just be the car for you. Why not take it for a spin and see for yourself? Just be prepared to fall in love with this charming 46-year-old beauty that's been cherished by its previous owners. Trust us, it's an opportunity you won't want to miss. 15. We've got a real treat for you, a 1974 AMC Hornet that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at just $7,500. And from what the seller tells us, it seems like a pretty sweet deal. Let's dive into the details, shall we? First off, this Hornet is packing a 258 six-cylinder engine under the hood, which is paired with a 3-speed manual transmission. That means you'll have plenty of power and control when you're cruising down the highway or navigating city streets. And speaking of cruising, check out that hatchback design. It means you can fold down the rear seats for extra storage space, perfect for road trips or hauling gear around town. Now, the seller, Bill, seems like a pretty straight shooter. He's upfront about the fact that the car has some scratches in areas where the paint is a bit thin, but he also points out that the body is rust-free, which is a big plus for a classic car like this. And get this, just 2 years ago, Bill gave the interior a major upgrade with new carpeting and upholstery, so you'll be riding in style and comfort. But Bill didn't stop there. He's also made some key improvements under the hood, like replacing the valve cover gasket and installing new trunk struts. And here's a fun fact, even the little things work, like the key door buzzer. It's always nice to see an owner who pays attention to the details, isn't it? Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car this old must have a ton of miles on it, right? Well, the odometer reads 99,682, which is pretty reasonable for a vehicle that's been around for almost 5 decades. It suggests that the car has been driven regularly but not run into the ground, which is a good sign. Oh, and one more thing. Bill has already paid the registration through May 2025, and the title is clean and in his name. That means you won't have to deal with any paperwork headaches when you go to transfer ownership. So what's the bottom line here? If you're in the market for a classic car with a bit of character, this 1974 AMC Hornet is definitely worth checking out. It's got a strong engine, a cool hatchback design, and a well-maintained interior and exterior. Plus, with Bill's recent upgrades and the clean title, you can feel confident that you're getting a solid car for your money. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to see the vehicle in person and have a mechanic give it a once-over before you hand over the cash. But based on what we know from the Craigslist ad, this Hornet seems like a promising prospect. So if you're in the Redwood City area and have been on the hunt for a fun, reliable classic car, why not give Bill a shout? He seems like a friendly guy who's passionate about his ride, and he's made it easy to get in touch. Just shoot him an email and he'll respond with his phone number. And hey, even if this particular Hornet isn't your style, remember what Bill says, good, clean cars are hard to come by these days. So if you find one that catches your eye, don't hesitate to jump on it. You never know when you might stumble across your dream ride. 16. We're taking a closer look at a real gem, a 1984 Cadillac Eldorado that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $3,200. This classic beauty is a true survivor, and it's ready to be your daily driver while you work on restoring it to its former glory. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Eldorado. The seller admits that it's not perfect, but it's in great shape for a car that's pushing 40 years old. The body is straight and the factory paint still shines, although it could use a bit of TLC to really make it pop. The vinyl top is holding up well with no rips or cracks, but it looks like it was painted over at some point along with the roof. Overall, this car is a real head-turner that's sure to get plenty of attention wherever you go. Moving on to the interior, it's clear that this Eldorado has been well cared for over the years. The dash is free of cracks and warping, and all the gauges are in good working order. The driver's seat has some minor wear and tear, but nothing too serious, while the back seat looks like it's never been sat in. The only real issue inside is the headliner, which has been pinned up to keep it from sagging. But that's an easy fix. Under the hood, this Eldorado is powered by a smooth-running V8 engine, although the seller does mention an oil leak from one of the valve covers. The SES light occasionally comes on due to a map sensor code, but it doesn't seem to affect the car's performance. Just be sure to let it warm up for a minute or two on cold mornings to avoid any stalling issues. The transmission shifts smoothly, and the power steering is a real highlight. It's like floating on a cloud. The factory four-wheel disc brakes are in good shape, and the suspension is nice and smooth, just like you'd expect from a Cadillac. Overall, this 1984 Cadillac Eldorado is a real find, especially in the Pacific Northwest where cars like this are getting harder and harder to come by. It's not perfect, but it's a solid car that you can enjoy driving while you work on bringing it back to its original condition. At just $3,200 or best offer, it's a great deal for anyone looking for a classic American luxury car with plenty of potential. Just remember, the seller isn't a finance company, so no payment plans, but they are open to trades or trade plus cash deals. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 17. We've got a real treat for you. A gorgeous 1978 Chevrolet Nova that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is in excellent condition and is sure to turn heads wherever you go. First off, let's talk about what makes this Nova so special. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 305 V8 engine that's ready to rumble. And with a clean title and only 92,000 miles on the odometer, you know this car has been well cared for over the years. The exterior of this Nova is absolutely stunning. The brown paint job is in excellent condition, and it really makes the car stand out from the crowd. The seller mentions that there's no rust anywhere on the car, which is a huge plus for any classic car enthusiast. The floors and trunk are also very solid, so you won't have to worry about any structural issues. 18. We've got a real treat for you. A 1963 Ford Falcon convertible that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This car is a true diamond in the rough, and with a little bit of TLC, it could be a real showstopper. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. This Falcon needs some work. The seller is upfront about this, stating that it's not ready for the road just yet, and will need a once-over before it's roadworthy. But don't let that discourage you, because this car has a ton of potential. The exterior of the Falcon is in good condition with a nice red paint job that's driver quality. There's no rust to be found, and the floors and trunk are solid. The car also comes with brand new American racing wheels and like-new tires, which give it a sporty look. And if you're a fan of stopping power, you'll be happy to know that this Falcon has front disc brakes and a 9-inch rear end with 5 lugs. Under the hood, you'll find a 289 V8 engine that starts right up and runs well. It's paired with a new 2-barrel carburetor, so you know it's getting plenty of fuel. The only issue is that the mufflers need to be replaced, but that's a relatively easy fix. Inside, the Falcon has been given some love with new seats, including front buckets with a factory center console. The right front seat does have a rip on the base, but that's a minor issue in the grand scheme of things. The car also has new carpet and door sills, giving the interior a fresh look. Overall, the interior is nice, but needs some finishing touches, as you can see in the pictures. Now, let's talk about the price. The seller has reduced the price to $12,500, which they state is their bottom line. They're not willing to go any lower, but they do say that this is a great opportunity for the right person. And if you're in Florida, the seller is even willing to include delivery within a reasonable distance. One of the best things about this Falcon is that it comes with a clear Florida title in the seller's name. That means you won't have to deal with any paperwork headaches when you go to transfer ownership. Overall, this 1963 Ford Falcon convertible is a great project car for someone who's willing to put in a little bit of work. It's got a solid foundation with no rust, a nice paint job, and some great upgrades like front disc brakes and a 9-inch rear end. Plus, with a 289 V8 under the hood, you know it's got plenty of power. If you're in the market for a classic convertible that you can make your own, this Falcon is definitely worth checking out. Just be prepared to put in some elbow grease to get it road ready. 19. We've got a real treat for you. A 1968 Dodge Dart that's been hiding away in a garage for the past 25 years. This classic beauty is a true survivor, and it's just waiting for the right person to bring it back to its former glory. Now let's talk about the specifics. This 68 Dart is rocking an original 6-cylinder engine and an automatic transmission, perfect for cruising down the highway or just taking a leisurely drive around town. And get this, it even has air conditioning. That's right, you can stay cool and comfortable while you're out there turning heads. The seller says the body and interior are in excellent shape, which is pretty impressive considering this car has been sitting for a quarter of a century. But here's the catch. It's not currently running. But don't let that discourage you. The seller is already working on getting it back in action, starting with a fresh set of tires. Of course, after 25 years of hibernation, this Dart is going to need some TLC, but that's all part of the fun, right? Getting your hands dirty, tinkering under the hood, and bringing a classic car back to life? It's what being a car enthusiast is all about. So if you're up for a rewarding project and you've got $11,000 burning a hole in your pocket, this 1968 Dodge Dart might just be the perfect car for you. It's got a clean title, a solid foundation, and a whole lot of potential. Don't miss out on this opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 20. 1954 Plymouth Belvedere. A classic beauty with low mileage. If you're in the market for a stunning piece of American automotive history, look no further than this. 1954 Plymouth Belvedere, currently listed on Craigslist. Priced at $14,900, this classic car is a rare find that is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. According to the seller's description, this Belvedere is largely original with the exception of the wheels and has a documented 47,000 miles on the odometer. The low mileage is a testament to the car's excellent condition and suggests that it has been well maintained throughout its life. Under the hood, you'll find a flathead 6-cylinder engine that is paired with a 3-speed manual transmission on the column. The seller assures potential buyers that the car starts, runs, and drives just as smoothly as it did when it rolled off the assembly line in 1954. With its rear-wheel drive layout, this Belvedere offers a classic driving experience that is sure to delight any enthusiast. One of the most striking features of this 1954 Plymouth Belvedere is its beautiful body, which the seller notes is completely free of rust. The car's exterior is adorned with an abundance of chrome, all of which is said to be in excellent condition. The combination of the pristine body and the gleaming chrome makes for a truly stunning visual presence. The seller suggests that this classic Plymouth would be an excellent choice for collectors who appreciate the beauty and nostalgia of vintage automobiles. It would also be a fun car to drive and show off at local events and gatherings. For those with a more creative vision, the seller mentions that this Belvedere could serve as a great starting point for a resto mod project, allowing the new owner to put their own personal spin on this classic ride. With a clean title and a price that reflects its excellent condition and low mileage, this 1954 Plymouth Belvedere is an opportunity that classic car enthusiasts won't want to miss. The seller, Kevin, invites interested parties to call and leave a message to learn more about this incredible vehicle. However, he kindly requests that no calls be made after 9:30 p.m. In summary, if you're looking for a classic car that combines style, nostalgia, and a smooth driving experience, this 1954 Plymouth Belvedere is definitely worth considering. Its excellent condition, low mileage, and original features make it a standout among classic cars on the market today.